Man, this is pretty big if it is true, man. Scott Bernstein over at the Gangster Report is putting out an article that the Hells Angels and the Highwaymen out in Michigan are on a verge of an alliance. And if you don't know your history, you don't know these clubs, man, you're missing out because this could be pretty huge. Go visit one of the original Biker Lifestyle and Biker News YouTube channels where you will get in the know on what's happening in the biker scene, biker news, op-eds, and more from me, James Hollywood Machikari. Monday and Thursdays, a new video on topics happening in the scene. Get on over there, get to the channel, and subscribe. Rock on. Okay, man, this coming from Gangster Report. If you haven't gone over and read Gangster Report, get on over there now. Scott Bernstein does have a lot of good sources over there. He usually reports on stuff going on with the mob, bikers, all that stuff. But the link to this article is in the description box, so go over there, check it out. And this was reported on January 2nd of 2025, so big news coming out at the start of the new year. It goes on to say now that Big Daddy is chiming in. It appears all but inevitable. The Hells Angels Motorcycle Club is in the final stages of negotiating a support agreement. Now remember, this is a deal where, hey, we go party with each other and all that good stuff. You know what it means if you were in the club world. It don't mean somebody's flipping patches or any of that. It's just a working agreement. With the Highwaymen, Michigan's oldest and largest 1% biker club. You know, he says biker gang, but it's a club. Per sources on both sides of the law. So he is getting his information, it looks like, from law enforcement, which probably has, you know, them little freaking informants running around that are letting them know what's going on. But the Highwaymen are huge in Michigan, and they are the oldest out there. Hardcore boys, man. Hardcore boys. Goes on to say, in the days before Christmas, Highwaymen bosses Leonard Big Daddy Moore and Steve Wolverine Steve Cutter met with the Hells Angels MC Brass in Michigan and the 81 National Leadership. And I guess this occurred in a top secret shot caller summit, as he's saying, hosted in Detroit. Man, last time I went to Detroit was in the early 90s. I went over there to Windsor, Canada. Yeah, it wasn't pretty back then, and I can just imagine what it is like now. Area to hammer out a last minute details of the merger. Now, you know, when you say merger, you know, are the Highwaymen flipping? I thought it was an agreement. See, that's where you got to get this terminology in line, because that means two different things. You know, you got a support arrangement, or is it a merger? Which, you know, like I said, get them straight there, man. And this, according to multiple sources, it's been going on for 2 years, they said. There was a party, and this is interesting, jointly thrown by the Hells Angels, the Highwaymen MC, and the Warlocks MC. Yeah, so now you got three in there, where Moore appeared last weekend, reports the sources. Big Daddy Moore is the number one biker boss in Michigan and lives just outside of Detroit in the hard scramble factory town of Taylor. I don't know why he had to put that in there. But a little background on him, as a young highwayman enforcer in the 1970s, he was convicted of second-degree murder in a bombing attack he helped engineer. That was according to court records. Now, Gangster Report did break the news of the first talks regarding potential H.A. Highwayman support arrangement back in 2022, which he did. I think we covered that one. Last spring, they reported that the Hells Angels from Michigan and Illinois visited Detroit for Cinco de Mayo celebration at the Highway MC mothership, I guess. It would be called a mother, chapter, but he calls it a mothership. Clubhouse in the melting pot of the southwest part of the city. The December 2024 meeting was 76-year-old Big Daddy Moore's debut in the negotiations, signaling the 11th hour talk. So he's getting he's getting really out there with these terminologies, man. You got to correct that. According to the sources, Moore is the club's godfather and Cutter is the Pagans. Wow, interesting here. Pagans official national president and day-to-day overseer per the feds. So the feds really got it going on there, man. They got their little fingers, little tentacles all over the place. I'll read that again. Big Daddy Moore's debut in the negotiations, signaling the 11th hour of talks. According to the sources, Moore is the godfather and Cutter is the Pagans' official national president for day-to-day operations. The plot thickens. Now, it goes on to say, he gives a little background about how the Highwaymen are rivals to the Outlaws, and how the Outlaws control the east side of Detroit. He goes into that. It's an article that you might want to take a look at if you're into everything that goes on in the clubs. A couple other things out of here. Moore's son, and I guess he's a Highwayman MC lieutenant, Leonard Moore. He's 54. He just got set free from his 20-year bid in the case right before the holidays. So a lot of moving parts right here. Gaines, who died of a sudden heart attack at the age of 50 in the middle of a weightlifting session. Cutter, 47, was Gaines' vice president and is called Wolverine Steve. And then it was going on to how the Outlaws' international headquarters, that was Taco Bowman, was housed in the Detroit area since the 80s and 90s. But then it's really going into the weeds here about the Pagans and the Blue Wave. That's why you got to really go and check out this article yourself. Again, it's in the comments or in the description about where the article is at, and then it goes into a little history of the Highwaymen in Detroit. Also, the Nomad chapter of the Hells Angels popped up in 2019, and then about how after a nearly 20-year absence and all that stuff. But a lot to do with the feds out here. It looks like a lot of his sources are law enforcement, which, you could take either way. It's, to me, most of the time they're informants for the cops. They're trying to work off a case or something like that, try to get out of crap because they can't take what they got into and they got caught, and it's time to pay the piper and stuff. So let me know what you think, man, with this supposed, and again, it's not verified because it's coming out of sources out of law enforcement and stuff, about this with the Hells Angels and Highwaymen. How is it going to affect Michigan biker politics and all that good stuff? Let me know in the comments section, man, and don't forget to buy the book, Brotherhood and Betrayal, over on Amazon right now. Rock on.
Is an in-depth look at the trials and tribulations of street gang and motorcycle club life. This isn't the run-of-the-mill book that doesn't give the goods. This book will go into detail of events that actually happened. All materials in this book have been approved by those involved. There is nothing poetic, nor is there any price worth paying for the life we choose to live on the streets. James Hollywood Machikari, Brotherhood and Betrayal.